From the Lovecraftian light show of lament comes the mind-altering meteorite madness that is 2019's The Color Out of Space. When a family farm is the epicenter of a catastrophe of cosmic proportions, it's a race against non-linear time to find out and escape the oncoming horrors. When does mother-son bonding go too far? How many alpacas fused together does it take to make the perfect fleshy fright? And at what point in a time loop do you know you're screwed? I hope you haven't had any water from the well, you've got your wine and fresh mutated fruit picked out, and you have your grandpa's trinkets held tight, because we're about to explore the color out of space.
Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise!
Whoa.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So good. If What the Actual Fuck was a movie, out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Welcome, Chuddle Club members, to a brand new meeting of the Chuddle the Pod Horror Movie Club. My name is Brian. I'm joined by my lovely co-occupants of the pod, Ross and Sam. Today, we unleash the terror of the unknown as we discuss 2019's Color Out of Space, which as of right now is streaming on Shudder. And just in case you didn't know, we like to keep it spoiler-free up top, and we will let you know when the spoilers are presented. As you know, we are a movie club, and you club members are the heart and soul. So don't forget to jump into our Discord, the best place to continue this conversation with us, as well as other fans and past guests. You can also always follow Chuddle the Sam.
Hey.
Sup
On Letterboxd for all his movie opinions, and Ross Purvis.
Yes.
Sup.
On Instagram for a peek at all his artwork as well. And last but certainly not least, we have to thank our Patreon. We got a shout out to our Coven of Witches. Your sacrifice gives us life, and we thank your beautiful souls.
Thank you.
Indeed.
We indubitably do.
We indeed do. And, you know,
Sure.
patrons just got the that bonus episodes coming out. They got a surprise bonus episode as well. So they're getting all that extra content, and that's what you're getting out of it over there. Sorry that was so scripted and to the point.
Yeah.
It's a lot of information I had to get out there right away.
Yeah.
Just let them all know right up top what's going on.
It was good.
Face.
Yeah,
Was it good?
It was good.
What is it? Was it fine?
Oh, I know.
I know. Okay, fine. That's all we have to get out of the way there, so that now we can get into the fun shit.
That's right.
The movie, the thing we're talking about tonight. We're gonna jump into this half force. It's not full force yet because we're leaving those spoilers out of it. Spoilers will be full
spoilers.
Correct.
right?
That's semi-force.
So
is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Give them just the tip.
I promise.
Spoiler-free tagline for you all. A secluded farm is struck by a strange meteorite, which has apocalyptic consequences for the family living there and possibly the world?
Question mark?
So, who made this film? It's based on a short by H.P. Lovecraft, written and directed by Richard Stanley. And our key players, a few of them in our film, Nicolas Cage as Nathan.
Yes.
Jolie Richardson as Teresa, Madeline Arthur as Lavinia, Brendan Mayer as Benny, Julian Hilliard as Jack, Elliot Knight as Ward Phillips, and Tommy Chong as Ezra. Those are the kind of the big ones in their film here. We got other people showing up as well. I mean, Nick Cage, that's our biggest name besides Tommy Chong. I mean,
right.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like this is a classic role for Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely perfect role for him.
Yeah, it was great, and he's caging out, he's wilding out, and I love it. And then, as we said, based on H.P. Lovecraft, which I know Ross is a big fan, Lovecraftian, and I am I can't think of a fun pun on his name to say that I don't know Lovecraft. No Craftian?
Yeah.
No Craftian. No Craftian. There you go.
That works. Cool. Yeah, I'm a no Craftian for sure. I know of the creations that he has brought forth, but beyond
that, I'm sort of similar. I've tried reading it a few times. It's very dense with the occasional bigoted statements. So
right?
Not for me.
Yeah. Like again, yeah, like the ideas that came out of it. Great.
Totally. Yep.
I'll take that and leave the
Oh
other
yeah,
stuff.
no, there's
behind.
some ones that are like, oh, that's pretty problematic. The color out of space though, I love how this was adapted to a film based off of the actual short story.
Mm-hmm. How well do you know it without saying much? Do you know the story that well?
Yeah. There's it's pretty similar. A lot of it is from the perspective of people visiting the farm than what actually transpires on the farm, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
So like
Cool.
You're basically kind of like visitors to this place as it gets more and more demented. Unlike the film, which is kind of the reverse of that, where you're seeing it, the firsthand accounts of what's going on, and then outsiders kind of coming in.
Right.
Gotcha. That sounds fun. So let's go ahead and
real quick.
Good.
Richard Stanley, the director, he did a couple things that were successful, but then he was directing The Island of Dr. Moreau, and like it went all crazy. And there's a whole documentary about the making of Island of Dr. Moreau and how like crazy this director was. And once he got booted off and somebody else came on, he like went into the special effects and had somebody do him up like a creature. So he was actually like still on set while they were filming the rest of the movie. And like it is bonkers, this movie and this guy.
I mean, that reads.
And I just had to get that out there about him before we moved on. Check out that documentary.
Yeah, I think I have something mentioned about it in the trivia. Okay. Gorometer, we ready for that?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's time for the Goro.
Fatality.
So, Psycho to Sadness, 1 to 10. How gory is the film? What are you thinking, gentlemen? Gentlemen, if I may.
I gave it. I gave it an 8. I gave it 3 for consistency, and then a solid 5 for content. But I love body horror, so that's
Okay, that's interesting. Sam, do you have a
7 is what I was gonna do. I was gonna do 4 for intensity and 3 for consistency.
Makes sense. I went 6. I went 3 and 3.
Okay.
So
yeah,
6, 7, 8. I don't know where my mind was tonight.
Sure. It was 7 right now.
Cosmic bro, but
it's
7 right down
pretty
the middle.
gooey for sure.
Yes.
And gory as well. I mean, I think we're all it's in the same ballpark. Depends on how much it affected you. Split it down the middle means mine's right, so we can move on.
Great. I guess that works. I mean, we just come off the heels of watching Tokyo Gore Police.
That's true. And what's nice too, from deviating from Tokyo Gore Police, is that we have our goo levels are pretty like. You get this nice cadence, like you get insane, intense stuff, and then you get lulls where we can have a few lacerations, maybe a digit or two missing, and then you get some really intense ones that kind of come up instead of just full throttle 10 that desensitizes you by the end of the movie.
Very true.
So leads us into who is this horror for? Talking genre, how to watch it, and is it for beginners? Genre, I mean, straight up cosmic horror, sci-fi horror,
yep, body horror, all that,
kind
all that jazz,
all those 3, yeah.
One, and this is a fun one where I think that this one could totally be a beginner movie. It's an intense beginner movie, but I feel that you could.
I agree.
Yeah. Because I think,
like, if someone was like, I'm interested in horror, I don't think it would be outrageous to suggest this movie.
Yeah. It may not be the best suggestion, but it would definitely pass as a suggestion for a first-timer. You know what I mean? With having, it's like, oh, you like Nicolas Cage? Well, let me show you this horror movie that he was in.
Interesting. I don't know if I would. I'd say, yeah, slightly past beginner, but like a beginner, I'd probably want to show something more. I don't know. Cosmic horror in this aspect seems a little abstract in my mind that I don't want to like confuse a beginner in any sense of like being like, that's what horror is. What the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah,
if the beginner is a sci-fi fan, this should be for them.
Yeah,
100%. If they're making that leap, they have seen this, theme played out before in much less gooey ways.
Totally.
And then, so how to watch? I think I'd say probably alone or a very small group is probably more effective than a hang for this one.
Yeah.
It's not like a raucous thing. It's you want to be This is a good one, like in the dark, watching like as a scary movie. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Just get in.
Sure.
I think you might lose some of the actual plot narrative in too much of a social setting. I think this kind of deserves like a individual or like your close club friends to watch this.
Mhm.
Close club. Yeah, if we were just having like a little chuddle.
Little
all hanging
chuddle.
out.
Yeah, like a half chuddle.
This will be playing at Chuddle Fest. Because at Chuddle Fest, all movies we've ever covered play simultaneously in different rooms.
Ooh.
And they're all themed. That's Chuddle Fest 5, by the way. 5. It's going to be when we have a bigger budget.
Mm-hmm.
But this one will be a dark room.
Oh,
that's small, so only an intimate Chuddle.
A small dark room.
A small dark room. I figured this one would be just full of alpacas.
Well, yeah, like, yeah.
Well, it'd be a blanket.
Oh, there we go, alpacas. Yeah.
Maybe it's like a series
on a
of small
waterbed.
rooms.
On a waterbed.
A waveless waterbed.
A waveless waterbed.
Well, obviously, all furniture at Chuddle Fest is water-based.
Of course. Chuddle Fest 5.
Yeah.
We need time.
Exclusively.
The final form.
The stage is a non-waveless water stage.
It's a water stage?
Yeah, a water stage.
You mean just a pool?
Like old school.
It's just a pool.
It's waveless.
No, you walk on it.
Oh,
you walk on
okay.
it. But there's water in there.
Because they're going to worship us. Walking on water.
Oh,
but that's only by 5. That happens after the tragedy of 4.
Mm.
We really had to put something hard into 5 to make people forget about Chuddle Fest 4.
Right.
But that's for
at
another
6,
year.
the whole floor
is it Firefest? Is that Chuddle Firefest 4?
Festival.
Chuddle Fest 4 was Firefest. We tried, so then we had to Chuddle Fest 5 it, and then Chuddle Fest 6. Yeah, Chuddle Fest 7's in space.
It's expensive.
It gets expensive, but I mean, we can only go there with your help. So spread the word. All right,
that was
Cosmic horror.
That was a pretty smooth landing, Brian. That's a great one.
Thanks. Who is this horror not for? Definitely not for metaphobes. We get a vomit.
Yeah, metaphobes. It's
animal death.
Animal death, child death. I think there's.
If you're not into misery,
self-harm
for sure.
Self-harm.
There is a lot of like light and photosensitivity stuff, especially with like the TV segments and stuff. Yeah, I think that's that's a good goop sandwich for the nopes.
Yeah, definitely. And then who picked it? Why? Our histories and everything. I picked this one, frankly, because I hadn't seen it before.
Awesome.
I've seen and people talk about it, heard about it, all that stuff, but I wanted to pick something that going into fresh, more or less.
Yeah.
And I knew I was always wanted to watch it, but I kind of always saved it to use it in some aspect.
Oh, okay.
And a little bit of both. Like I just didn't watch it, and then also I was like, I could probably save it to do here, type of thing. And then finally I was like, I'm just gonna fucking pick it and do it.
Fuck it.
So that's it. That's my history.
Great.
Let's go.
I don't have a history with it.
I remember when it first came out, but you hadn't seen it since until watching it for the show, Sam.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I've never seen it. Kind of heard of it. Knew it was a Nicolas Cage thing, but didn't really know anything about it.
I honestly watched it probably maybe a week or two after it came out. Any H.P. Lovecraft movie thing, I'm fucking immediately in. It may take
I had assumed you saw it relatively close to its release.
Totally. Yeah, because this was a weird one too, especially I've seen graphic novels interpretations of this story, but I think this is the first film adaptation of this story, I believe. So I was real pumped on it because it's definitely different than a lot of Lovecraft's writings, especially with because this is just this is more based upon a centralized terror versus eonic terror, from beyond, and
Well, it's still from beyond.
It is.
It's a from beyond terror centralized.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Localized
otherworldly terror.
Coming to
put that into subgenre. If you're really into localized otherworldly terror,
this is your jam.
This is perfect for you.
Yeah.
All right, and then so that's a great place to jump into spoilers. So now All right, here, check this.
Check this out.
Check this out.
Check it out.
Check it. You're going to like this, guys. Now would be the best time to pause this episode if we enticed you with this movie, and check it out yourself if you haven't seen it yet, because now is when we go full force. Going all the way. Punch it in.
Into the...
Spoiler zone. Fist deep.
Elbow deep.
Elbow deep.
Elbow deep.
Shoulder deep.
Shoulder deep.
We just got a wetsuit on.
We're going
And
shoulder deep.
yeah,
Yeah, all right. We're coming up with a boy band song. We'll save this for later.
That was on Crazy Sexy Cool. That was on whatever version ours was.
I don't remember how that even started.
So let's give you guys a brief recap if you haven't, seen the movie in a while, don't care, and want to know anything about it. A family living in a remote farm in the Arkham countryside is rocked by a cosmic horror when a meteorite crashes onto their land. Strange and terrifying events begin to unfold as the family members experience increasingly bizarre... bizarre.
Cool and bizarre.
The cool bizarre.
Experience very cool, bizarre phenomena. God damn it. Strange and terrifying events begin to unfold as the family members experience increasingly bizarre phenomena, including mutated animals and a surreal and nightmarish descent into madness. The family consists of Nathan Gardner, his wife Teresa, and their 3 children, Lavinia, Benny, and Jack. Each member of their family has their own personal struggles and conflicts, which are exasperated by the arrival of the alien presence. As the alien organism mutates and destroys the surrounding environment, the family begins to feel increasingly isolated and helpless. Nathan, a failed artist struggling to provide for his family, becomes increasingly erratic and unstable as he grapples with the otherworldly forces at work. Lavinia, a Wiccan practitioner, attempts to use her knowledge of the occult to fight back against the alien presence. Benny, the middle child, is fascinated by the mutated animals and begins to develop an unusual connection to them. Jack, the youngest child, is haunted by surreal and terrifying visions. As the events become more and more surreal, the family members are forced to confront the incomprehensible nature of the universe and the fear of the unknown. The film's climactic scene, the family members are consumed by the alien presence, leading to a surreal and nightmarish finale. That's the movie. There it is. I hope you remembered it. If you haven't. Behind the scenes, real quick, before we get into our 666 questions for tonight. This is kind of like I think like 9 or 10 or something that I grabbed real quick.
Sure.
In a Q&A with Richard Stanley, he claimed that this film would be the first of a trilogy, with Dunwich horror adaptation coming next. But nonetheless, in March of 2021, the trilogy was canceled after Stanley was accused of domestic abuse by his former partner, Scarlett Amaris, and production company Spectravision cut all relations with him.
God damn it.
That's
Yeah.
too bad that he's
Fuck.
Yep. Who would have thunk it based on that crazy story you told of him dressing up
Dressing up as a man animal to stay on his own set.
Someone might be a control freak. The film marks the return of director Richard Stanley, who had not directed a feature film since being fired from the production of The Island of Dr. Moreau, and that was in 96.
Isn't that amazing? Is how 20? No, how many years later is it? 17 years later, whatever it is. It's amazing that he finally got his chance to come back and fucked it up again, right after making a movie.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I mean, he's just a piece of shit, and maybe there's a reason. But
amazing movie, or we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get into the movie. The movie was filmed in Portugal, with the production team transforming a farm into the Gardner's family homestead. Cage has stated that he based his performance off the character's backstory, imagining Nathan Gardner as a failed artist who was once a hippie, had become disillusioned with the world. The film features practical effects rather than relying on CGI. It kind of mixes them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
obviously.
Mhm.
All those lights, completely real. There's a guy standing there with like a few different flashlights, swirling them.
What the computer effect is, they take the guy out.
They get, yeah.
Exactly.
It's just he just has a bunch of LEDs on bullwhips as he's just screaming, running around, flailing.
Oh my god, that'd be great. I'd love to see that version. And there's also, actually what they really did was just open up a black hole portal.
Yeah.
And summon forth.
The alien is real in this, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
it's all real.
Yeah.
Practical.
Demons. Monsters.
Demons.
Demon
I wonder what
monsters
that
from
audition
space.
process was like.
Well, they originally had unknown people cast first to
Yeah.
see what would happen, and obviously they those people are still unknown for a reason.
So you're a half asleep demigods living under the ocean? Okay. Well, just here's the take. We just need you to crawl out of this well real quick and just kind of just scream.
Are you auditioning the demigod?
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen,
nice.
Yeah, it's better.
I like it.
you're a color, but you're not a regular color.
Yeah, it has to be. Can you give me more from outer space?
Perfect.
Perfect.
No, okay. I'm on board with this. The film features so stupid.
Fucking
idiot. Film well received by critics and audiences, with many praising its Lovecraftian influences, obviously, surreal visuals, and over-the-top performances. The movie was adapted from the short story by the same name, which we said, and the film score was composed by Colin Stetson, best known for his work on horror films such as Hereditary and The Vivitch.
Oh,
The score
wow.
was praised for its eerie and otherworldly qualities.
Mhm.
Damn, that boy's getting all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just needs to do some Ty West, and he's got the three modern biggies.
The movie's title refers to the strange and indescribable color that emanates from the alien presence, which is described in Lovecraft's original story as a blight of purple.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
Purple
blighty.
Blight.
Purple blight right there.
That's
It's like blah.
it's full of purple blight. This movie
It's
All right.
purple blights.
That brings us to our first six.
tight.
First six, The Arrival.
Yeah, there we go. I like that.
Yeah, these first six questions for us to get into the movie and just, open it up. So open up the
So
pit
open
and
up
start
the-
Open
two
up
step
this
in. Let's
pit.
go.
Okay,
I mean, that's how we start in every meeting now. We open up the pit.
Let's open this pit up. All right, first and foremost, I love the color out of space, as in the actual color.
The blight of purple.
The blight of purple is
Great.
so
Absolutely.
good in this, because it's like this perfect pinkish purple hue, but it's all, it gave me, without like ripping it all, it was like a cousin of the ethereal purple pink from like Ghostbusters, like that real ghosty weird, but like a better
Sure.
version of that, I guess, would be the best. Like it
Oh, sure.
was, yeah, the way the
I see
color
that.
play
I
with
see what
that
you're saying.
is so good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you've listened to our episode on Revealer, we're big fans of red and blue
Yeah.
lighting, neon lighting. So when you put
Wait till you
those
see-
together,
You give
get
us a
blight of
purple blight.
Oh.
Shit.
Shit.
Done. Done.
I gotta
Yeah,
send
no,
me
I
Chuddle
agree with
already.
you.
Oh,
That was
God.
definitely good. Now, okay, so I
to
don't know where to
begin?
start here. Where
Yeah.
to begin? I think the best place is in. I don't know. Let's work away from beginning to endish, if that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we can, in any sort of aspect. I mean, still, even going there, because it's like, what part do I want to start with? Nick Cage in this is fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to say,
Yes. Definitely.
first off, over the top and great in every way, and sometimes has a really weird accent.
he's got like
Yes.
3 different voices he does.
There's
And
a
he
few
hits
things.
the one
I think it's
one
the
of
more
his
psychotic
voices,
he gets. Like, I think it's like as he
Yes,
devolves into his psychosis, like he has family
but he'll
dad
snap
voice.
back to regular too. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
but
a
it's
little
like this
while. He goes
completely-
between.
It's wild. I love it. It's just such a different accent.
Yeah, the cadence he does with that voice is amazing. It's like, what does he say to his daughter? He's like, why don't you get the fuck out of here? Or no,
Oh, yeah.
even better, I'll get the fuck out of here. Like,
Oh yeah, that
it's
one's super
like
weird.
The timing and
Honestly,
tone and
Teresa too. Was it Jolie Richardson? Her getting unhinged was like Cage level for me. where it's like it's very hard when you're with Nicolas Cage to stay neck and neck with him the entire movie. I think she did a great job because like she's unhinged in a completely different way. Like she's disassociating and like melting away basically as he's getting more neurotic and like hostile. I don't know. I think they both played crazy in a really interesting way. And also, like, I don't think either one outshadowed the other, to me, personally. Although Nicolas Cage's was like...
Yeah, I mean, to me, Nick Cage definitely went full Nick Cage in this. It was the perfect role for him to do that. Even in the full Nick Caginess of, like, the outlandish, over-the-top acting, but also the sort of drawn-down regular... Because in the beginning, he does normal guy very well.
Yeah.
Almost as if he knows he wants to have that crazy juxtaposition in the character. Because it's really, after the meteor lands, like, it's not a perfect family, but it's a happy family that's, like, living together. And then after the meteor, that's when everything starts changing in small ways.
The family dynamic in this movie is so... Clearly, it's a giant web of stuff, and you can see the fray sticking out. Like, it's not a perfect family by any means. So, like, you can tell that, like, obviously this is a cosmic catalyst, but very quickly does this thing tug and completely unravel the family dynamic, almost like overnight.
Well, sure. Because they just moved out to this ranch relatively recently.
Yeah.
And you can tell that the mother is very... workaholic type.
Oh yeah, there's no internet.
Gotta fix the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we don't really know what she does, but that's okay.
It's like
we just
stocks or something like that. But it seems like she's the
stocks and bonds.
Stocks and bonds, which seems like she's like the. It kind of gives the that she's like either the breadwinner or the main source of income for the family. Like she's stuck up in this desk in the attic, trying to get as much Wi-Fi as possible. As like Nathan is kind of just procuring his alpacas, milking them. Drinking their milk.
Gotta be gentle with the boob.
I do like Betty's character, the son, as the oldest son is kind of just like this, I'm just going to hide out in every nook and cranny and get stoned with Ezra as much as possible. Like he's just kind of like mentally checked out. Like, I think the first scene when you see him, he's hiding in the barn just after smoking.
Yeah, you see a puff of smoke come out.
Yeah.
And then he steps out.
Yeah, he's chilling with the dog. Yeah, I mean, the kids were okay. I mean...
I liked the kids, but particularly Lavinia. I liked her.
I think
I'd say that's what I was going to say.
Lavinia.
She was probably my face.
Yeah.
My favorite.
My face.
Meet Lavinia.
She's at a loss for words today.
Right.
She doesn't own a dress. She won't come back.
You know that was gonna happen or something?
I was ready for it.
So good.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the video was a really interesting character, especially the fact like giving her kind of the Wiccan, also like reading on the Necronomicon and darker magic and stuff like that. I thought was really interesting, and it added like a kind of a nod homage to the older works. I mean, like I think even a certain part it zooms in on a copy, like a paperback copy of the Necronomicon.
It does.
Oh yeah,
or it like
I
pans
own that
over
book.
it.
I own that. Like
that copy
that version, that copy.
Yeah,
totally.
It's the one you would buy.
I do like
when you went to go buy a Necronomicon at
Barnes
Barnes & Noble.
yes. And I do like that Ward Phillips is kind of our nice, like, he's almost, I mean, he is our narrator in the beginning of the movie, and he's like basically the one kind of telling this tale. But I do like the fact how Ward's character weaves himself in and out of all of these situations. So like,
I did like the intro, just him meeting her and her casting the spell, and I thought she was gonna be from a witch family, not just like a teenager who's like, I'm a witch.
Yeah,
that's cool too.
With a pentagram tattoo on the top of your
foot.
But
something with her and the horse and the way it was shot and everything, it almost reminded me of like, it's giving me vibes of like an 80s fantasy movie. I was
it did feel very much so.
Yeah.
Her costume design that she was wearing at the time, and all of it felt very much so. I got that vibe from it. So I was like, where are we going with this? Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I really like Tommy Chong's character Ezra in the fact of like he's like this weird shaman, but if like I love especially second watching this and then third watching this is that all of Ezra's dialogue is a direct breakdown of the entire narrative of the film, especially towards
what's happening,
mm-hmm. like verbatim. And the first time watching it, I was like, oh man, this is kind of trippy. And the second time I'm like, oh, this is a play for play. And then by the time the third I was like, oh wow, everything he's saying is about everything that's going to happen. Yeah.
And do you have an example?
There's a really good one. I mean, realistically,
I just didn't notice it. I'm curious.
So in the beginning, like you kind of get a hint of it because when you first meet Ezra, he knows exactly who Ward Phillips is, knows exactly what his job is without ever meeting him or anything like that. Obviously, you see him, he have like surveillance and stuff like that. But the big one,
who is he?
He's a squatter.
Yeah,
they're like, does anybody else live here? He's like, we got a squatter who's been on the property, but
that's what he said. I didn't hear.
I was like, can
you
do that? How does squatters' rights work? I could just go live on somebody's property and be like, hey, I'm a squatter.
Don't even worry about me. Yeah. No.
Okay. So he's just a dude that's just living out there.
Just living out there, dude.
Cameras.
Yeah, he's got like.
Yeah, he just put together his own like place to live.
And he's got like the mic that's like into the ground, like he's like hearing the water tablet or like underneath him, or underneath him. No, okay. So the big pull away is when they discover his body towards the latter end of the film, and the narration that's going on before is explaining everything that's going on. And even even what he says before that, he was like the outside is inside, like they're here.
At that point, he's like a voice for it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the part where we see him dead or whatever it is at that point. But yeah, we do get the part where
like a prophet character, for sure.
But yeah, at the point where he's like talking about, he's like, you don't hear the voices coming from the people under the ground or whatever he says.
It's like outside is inside, up is down, left is right.
Yeah.
Cats are dogs.
Yeah, for sure. No, he was definitely great. In terms of like the scenes, realistically,
oh man,
the first one that comes to my mind is meteors crash down, weird shit starts happening. It turns out drinking the water somehow speeds up the process of this alien creature thing taking over and consuming, maybe, or whatever. There's water tied into
aliens in the water. He's in the water table.
Yeah, he's changing everything.
Shit changing all over the place. And then eventually we get our alpacas to form
mega
alpaca,
Voltron.
mega alpaca, Voltron alpaca,
king alpaca.
Yeah, it's like a king rat.
Yes,
yeah,
or
yes,
alpaca
exactly.
king.
Alpaca king.
Is it rat king or king
rat? King.
Rat king.
Rat king. Alpaca king.
Yeah,
an alpaca king. And I was also that too. The alpaca king in the barn, just like the gooiness. I'm like, this is sad Slither. Or
and the nature of the creature itself too, like it's coming to this other world and infecting and sort of taking everything.
Even when we get that that flashback thing,
the planet that it's from.
Well, what's weird about this creature in comparison to, say like the Slither creature and stuff like that, is that when you have like Alpaca King, or later on the movie, Jack Teresa, like you have these Jack Teresa King, is that like in Slither it's one entity consuming, and then like it's all different parts of this whole thing, and in this creature bends time, space, and matter, and so like just being around this thing is causing like irreparable damage. It radiates. So like it's basically the alpacas fused in together, and they're just in monumental pain and suffering indefinitely. And it's like
like a 5-headed turtle.
Yes. Just kill me.
Yes. We get Return of Turtles.
Turtles, dude. Oh my gosh, dude. Mega Ultra Turtle just says daddy the entire time is like horrifying. That is fucking horrifying.
There's some sad Slither. I mean, the same basic premise, but it's just.
I didn't expect the whole family to die. I'll say that now.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and the way it was done.
So we got Alpaca King. So Nick Cage comes in there and decides, I'm just going to shotgun them all.
Yeah.
And that was gooey, nonetheless.
Very gooey.
But I mean, we get
the second watch, it played more comedic to me than it did the first time.
Yes.
First time I was like, silence of the alpacas. The second time I was like,
this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, so we get these constant views of whatever this entity is, because we get creature vision, don't we? Isn't that what
we do get a little bit of, yeah.
So it seems to be some sort of...
At first you think like
something.
that bug's going to turn into something or infect something.
No. Oh, that praying mantis looking thing?
That's just a cute little thing.
No, we'll just see it again at the end to be like, wait,
so it's
okay,
still,
now I really don't get it.
It's still here. Well, it's weird because like, I think it's... one of the characters describes it. I don't know if it was Ezra, but it talks about like how this thing is literally plants itself and is terraforming its own environment around itself. So like it's affecting obviously those like the flowers.
Everything's growing, the flowers, the big tomatoes.
Oh my god, the whole fruit scene, the tomato and peaches scene with Nicolas Cage as she's complaining about having no Wi-Fi and fixing the dish and stuff, and he's just taking bites, spitting it out, and then he just like the slam dunk like the top.
Crazy
erratic.
Over the top.
I also find
Perfect.
it really
Full Cage.
I find it really interesting that both Teresa's character and Nathan's character, when they start going crazy, one of the first signs is them being absolute fucking assholes to Lavinia, their daughter. Like terrible. Yeah. Like the first time Teresa starts like acting fucking weird, basically like is insinuating like how your daughter's dressing, and like of course you're hitting on him, and like basically slut shaming her daughter to her face, which causes like an emotional breakdown. And then obviously Nick Cage is one where he's just like screaming.
Well, and that's the thing too. Before that lands, like they have issues, but they never say anything like.
Everyone's
there's
really
still
polite.
Like a nice loving family. Yeah, there's like
right.
Yeah,
there's nothing like no sense of tension between them, like true tension until post.
Totally.
Landing.
I do like when
it's like how you mentioned it, almost like there were threads of a nice family poking out, and then the color landed and started pulling those threads.
Just every single one of them, and just unravels this entire family. But it's all right. I like
blanket out of space.
Blanket out of space. Hey. When the initial color lands on the property, like this is the first time like what Nathan and Teresa are like being intimate for the first time, because she has had cancer, and it seems like she's had
first time after surgery. They've
like
been
6 months or something like that. And then like all the other obviously like kids, I think Benny's getting stoned, all that other kind of crazy shit happening. And then that weird scene where Jack's awake in the hallway when the thing lands and like mind eviscerates him. That crazy scene where his whole face, like that whole cinematic shot of his whole face like whiting out as he's screaming was fucking awesome.
This is a beautiful movie. I love the way it's shot, the aesthetics, the slow adding of the color through everything as it goes on. I love the look of this movie.
I think that what I really admire about what the perspective of, especially when reading the book, is that having what's going on as a not POV, but like you're in with the family, is that like you do get disoriented because like it is warping time and space. So when Benny and Lavinia are together, and like Benny has put away the alpacas like 3 separate times, and like Lavinia's having these weird blackout moments when she's cleaning up the blood from when Teresa zoned out and lobbed off 2 of her fingers. So she has to be rushed to the hospital. Ready. Dinner's ready, and like just mangled
like
hand.
2 fingers lopped off.
Oh my god! So like they have to get like jutted out. So like the kids are basically to their own devices, but this thing is now has a full hold over. Oh man!
I love the sound of the phone calls when they were trying to get a hold of each other, and it was jumbled, and it was sort of like maybe you were hearing them respond, but not, and maybe there was other sounds coming in. The sound design on those calls was awesome.
It's wild too, because I mean I could be totally wrong on this. I feel like some of that static is audio happening later on in the movie. Like some of it sounds like some like weird crazy breakdown stuff that
it very well could be, because it's definitely like when she's talking to Nathan or calling him,
Yes.
and it's all staticky, there's a
Screaming.
garbled like screaming at her. I don't know if it's directly something from the movie, but yeah, I think it's all definitely part of that, and the time distortion and messing around certainly would lend to that theory.
Oh, totally. And then like being as
manipulation.
You still kind of know what's going on, but you're still as disoriented as Benny and Lavinia for a few of these scenes, especially like. Even the hallway scenes are fucking weird to me because, like, by the second or third watch through, like, Lavinia will be kind of crossing to a hallway, and you can see light coming through a window when it's a night scene. And then, like, by the time she heads out,
the way
it's night again, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
The way night and day and lighting in each of those starts to like devolve as it goes.
Yeah.
You're like, wait. Was that shot just nighttime or not? And where are they now? It looks like it's day, but is it night?
Yeah,
it's super disorienting and almost confusing, but then it's like it kind of, it does make sense.
100%.
Scheme of what it is.
And I think what's super horrific, obviously the visual effects and the monsters in this are fucking top notch. I think one of the most terrifying scenes for me is when Lavinia and Benny are sitting down and they realize that they're stuck in this weird, fucked up time loop warp, and there's more than likely they're not getting out of it. Where like I think they had tried before. I think this is when, we can just get to it. Like when Teresa, just out of the hospital, grabs Jack, the youngest boy, and then this cosmic thing comes out and physically melts their bodies together back to back. So like. Teresa is all fucked up, barely able to talk. She's like lapping water out of a bowl like a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the back end is just a gnarled hand and then Jack's distorted, bloated face with like half of his body just
lights of purple shining
through
his like head.
And the only thing that he's communicating is whimpering and saying daddy the entire time.
Yeah, this thing is like this is the saddest version of a turtle.
Gagging and making sad.
Yeah.
Like it just constant noises like that. They bring him upstairs and there's like a scene they're all having dialogue talking and the whole time in the background is just like
oh my god. But
I'm laughing to help myself not feel so like horrendous about like how that scene is. It's fucking awful.
But it's like it's so heavy and it's so bad because you just feel like you're like there is no good solution for this. And like Nicolas Cage's thing where he walks in, he's like, I'm going to take care of this after Alpaca Massacre. You know what I mean? He's just like, it's the
Benny's like you took care of the alpaca.
Yeah,
like, just get out of here.
Just get out of here.
And Benny's like, love you, Dad. Love you too, son.
Yeah, because
you think he's gonna take her out, but he kisses her, and it's the gooeyest
kiss.
kiss. Oh my goodness!
This
so
was
hot.
sloppy.
Threads just going.
Yeah.
Between
I just wanted more of it.
Yeah,
just continue that. Please.
I think this is the point too, where like Nathan is
goo freak.
Oh, dude, a goo.
Hey man, I'm on brand.
Oh, the lip leak that comes out of this turtle is so gross. But it's also the scene where Nathan completely loses his mind. Like that is when he snaps, absolutely, completely. But in kind of a weird turtle 180 is that when Lavinia gets thrown back in the room by Nathan, because they need to have family time and talk this out, the Teresa Jack monster now is mobile. Her head is elongated like Henrietta's from Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
And is just
I get that
curdling through and like Lavinia and like all the but just like all that fucking rage and just like anger towards her daughter is like coming out palatable and then being like I'm hungry and like
and the goo like she was like covering her in saliva like gooey.
Oh yeah, dude, I was thinking it was
so gross. And the thing Nicolas Cage picked up in the shower that was
the
like
jellyfish
gel. Yeah.
That was gooey, a little goo buddy.
So goo.
Oh, that's a goo buddy.
It's a little goo buddy. And then it'll go to a scene of like some other shit happening with the alpacas, and Nick Cage will be like, "Do you have any idea how much those animals cost us? They're alpacas. Alpacas.
Alpacas.
I love those alpacas. The voice he used when he had gone full insane at the end, like totally lost touch with reality, where he's like, oh, I'm kind of talking like this now. He's just like scratching his arms, and he does the weird itch on the side of his face and nose
because he's also hammered because he's just been drinking bourbon the entire time. And he
was shot.
And he was. This is before he got shot.
Oh, not yet shot.
This is before he got. This is
when Ward and the sheriff show up.
Yeah, dude, the sheriff going after Ezra's place. The scene. Okay, so there's a few of these lead up scenes when Lavinia tries getting on her horse to get the fuck out, and the horse freaks it, gets spooked, and then runs. The scene of the horse going by the cop car coming out of the mist was so fucking cool. But then Sheriff Pierce, when he gets sucked up by the tree line.
Yes.
I love that.
That one,
awesome.
Actually, the first time I watched it, that one got me because I was thinking of like ground critters. I was not thinking of like the actual woods themselves sucking up and eating things.
And I wasn't even expecting that to have been what it was necessarily. I was like, what was that?
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, it's the tree. Well, you're definitely fucked now. Like
100%.
And right after that, as Ward's running back, it starts looking incredible. The way the colors worked into everything, and like some of the trees are almost like pulsing with it inside it. The more spun out everything gets at the end.
Yes.
Oh, it's wild. And just like, oh man, like visually, the idea of like a cosmic infection is just such a weird thing because this thing is in the well, in that weird orb thing that's like pulsating, and then it burbles up the burbles. That praying mantis at first, and then just all of the fucking flowers and stuff, and then just the fact of like it's turning the trees hostile. I'm just picturing it entire because they talk about in the beginning of the movie how dense this wood is and how it's always been cursed.
Some of the brooklets that have never seen light before.
Yeah, like oh god, just picturing like what a horrible breeding ground for such a creepy critter to just like diffuse into.
So the beginning, the narration in the beginning talks about this place always being talked about as like this like cursed evil place.
Yeah.
Why?
Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Why?
Like how so? That doesn't fit with like the I guess that doesn't make sense to me with the event that happens there, because it doesn't seem like that event's happened there before, and it's not being like it seems like this event.
I have to double check with the narrative because I mean, what's weird about Lovecraft's writing is that like it all because it's all in the same universe. So like the Dunwich, like in the movie, like Dunwich is just like north of where this farm is, and there's like the Dunwich Horror, there's Innsmouth, there's Arkham, which is like the city with the actual like.
So maybe that's what's in
University.
Reference to. I thought it was.
It's like I think because there's the oh my god, this is all the Lovecraft fans are going to fucking probably rip me apart for this. But there's like
rip them apart,
just to eviscerate me.
Because
I mean, like there's also like the Legends of the Black Goat, and like there's other weird demigods that are like all throughout this entire fake area. So like and a lot of them, some of them do happen in the woods, and like I would assume it's partially other stories, but like it has nothing to pertain about this because it's just like a one-off incident that happens.
I was just thinking evil woods like attract bad things.
Yes.
This was a bad thing that it attracted.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. It's like
evil woods attract bad things.
The movie. Cinema, the movie.
I like it.
I do. Okay, so like obviously we get to like the big crescendo at the end, like when like the family gets absolved. Like Lavinia basically like succumbs to this entity and like dissolves like right in front of Ward. Like we have the reanimated corpse of Nathan at the end of this, which is fucking wild. But okay, the very end where you have like we have the cyclone of the color that kind of comes up, and then the big explosion because he's in the wine cellar. I absolutely loved that the radius of this entire thing after it leaves completely devoids of all color. Like it's just solid, stark white. Like, I thought that was such a fucking cool. But it's like it's burnt.
It's ash,
like,
right?
It's
looks like ash.
But it's like, but I just love that idea of just completely devoid of any color because of how colorful this entity was. I don't know. I got it as like almost like an artistic choice of just like there's just nothing.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah, it's just stark contrast for sure. So the entity, I don't really understand. It just lands places until it burns out, but it leaves a little locust thing to fly around 20 years later or something. It's the only sort of hang up I have on the whole experience.
Well, okay, so there's a few little, I guess, points that I have to, but one thing I do love is when the entity kind of really overtakes what's her name?
Lavinia, and she's all like glowing inside and everything.
When the entity overtakes Lavinia, cool. Awesome. Yes. Thought that looked great. And then that's when she like shoots out the projection of like what this thing has done before into Ward, whatever, Philip Flanagan.
Mm-hmm.
Ward Phillips, I think.
Ward Phillips. Yeah. So she projects that in, and then that's when we almost kind of see like these weird slithery things slithering around all over this fucking world or whatever the hell's going on over there.
Very slither planet.
Climbing up a mountain type thing. Great. And then she gets absorbed by the entity, which that was all awesome. And then this whole scene I thought was really fucking cool of him, and it was like the delayed look,
yes, like it's like an essence
body
being,
through time, like the image.
Oh, I love that.
Pulled all around. Like there's a point where it falls, and like you see like his full image, and then he's still running off into some other, and that's like what leads him into the cellar, trails and all that shit, and almost like video glitches. It looks like that was all done really, really well.
The way the wine bottles were exploding next to him in that style looked very cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought so too. And I think then that's like, so it was either right then or right before then when Nick Cage's character gets shot. It feels like the entity, isn't it like crawling out of the well or something?
Yeah.
And doesn't it retract back in?
It's got like light tentacles.
Lighticles?
Yes.
Sure.
As it starts coming out, and they're like observing it, and like Lavinia and him are like kind of observing, and he's about to shoot the entity, but the sheriff behind him thinks he's about to shoot Lavinia or Ward, and then basically just gets shot in the back. But like,
and then when that happens, the entity like retracts in.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know, just more to
how it all works.
How it all works. Why did it do that?
I don't know.
Why would it be scared of something if it seems to be as powerful as it is? I don't know. That was one little thing.
Yeah, it's weird. It's as chaotic as like, I don't know. I mean, like it's almost like rolling chaos. Like I pictured it as like it's an entity, but everything that it's around on this planet or on this plane of existence, it just warps and corrupts everything around it. So like, I never feel like, because I think they bring it up in dialogue. It's supposed to be like a messenger of something. I don't know. I think it's one of Lavinia's spiels towards the end of the movie. But like, it's supposed to be like a hairbringer of like doom and cosmic destruction and shit. But like, I feel like this is like the worst version of Mothman in the fact of like, it's a creature, but even if it's like here for like peace, love, and unity, the second it gets towards you, it just melts you. It radiates you, and it's like, no, wait, I'm just okay. All right, so my tiny ship's stuck in the well. Could you not? Okay, no, you're melting too. All right, I'll just go to your neighbors.
I did like visually and conceptually when early in the film when there's the thunderstorm after it had landed and they go outside and the lightning's
it's just attracting all that energy.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, that's cool. It's just like not only absorbing lightning, it's gonna pull all the lightning to it.
Oh yeah.
And then it was doing weird stuff with electronics, which it also not really sure what was happening there, where it like turned on Ward's car, then turned it off and his radio came on and different things.
Yeah. It also killed and ate the battery of Nathan's car after getting back from the hospital and stuff like that. I was
thinking maybe what it's doing at those points is like sucking out their energy.
Just eating energy.
Like it's eating electricity, kind of like it had with the thunderstorm, maybe.
How it gets Benny is super fucked. because like it mimics his dog's like bark as he starts climbing down the well, and then it just immediately opens up like a Venus flytrap. Just goes like,
and then it just engulfs him with light,
and just
that's all we get.
Yeah, he's
in the well now. My whole family's here except for Benny. He's in the well now.
Yeah.
I didn't get the significance of the compass either. The grandpa's compass.
They don't really bring that up.
He finds at the end, and then we see him again with it at the dam.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I think for Ward, it's just like a totem of what happened that night. But for like Lavinia and Benny, it's like they find relics of their grandfather on the property, and they kind of argue on who gets them, because it's like Benny has the goggles, and then Lavinia's got the
which
compass.
He flips down right before he gets blasted into space,
totally,
or into color, or whatever.
I was hoping
that happens,
but I guess I don't know.
Burned up.
I was like, cool.
All right, done.
But what?
I thought maybe when he flipped his goggles down, exactly. I was like,
but no,
that
we're gonna
protected
get
him
something.
From the color
Besides, he got to
and...
see the light tentacles a little bit clearer. It looked like heading towards him once he put those on, but that was about it.
I would have loved to have. Oh, that would have been a really great twist in the fact of like if you can diffuse the color that you're seeing. It's like
blurple.
It's blurple. Oh, you mean blurple?
Swallow it down.
It's like kind of like From Beyond, like another H.P. Lovecraft thing, like From Beyond, where it's like you see these creatures because they're at a different, or you don't see different creatures because they're at a different harmonic level than you are. So but this machine balances it out, and you see these creatures. It'd be really funny if there was an optical version of that, where it's like it emits this light.
The spectrum.
Yeah, exactly. So like when
it puts on all, it's like putting on a.
It's like Cyclops putting on his like
thermal
glasses.
Yeah,
glasses. What are the
night vision?
So we can see infrared.
Yeah,
because that's like a light that
totally
color we can't see. If you had a thing that allowed you to see UV, there's all sorts of lights we can't see.
I was thinking like kind of reverse Cyclops. It's like a visor that like filters out the color blurple, so you don't see blurple, so you're safe from seeing them.
Sure. Like if you wear blue tinted glasses and then take them off, everything's yellow. Something like that.
Like that. Like if you were like, blurple glasses.
What you need is 3D glasses because it's blue and red on each side.
You just close one.
That's
the answer.
It's blurp and herbal. Blurple.
Blurp and herbal.
Blurple.
Blurkle.
Blurkle. I mean, I think
that's what. After it burned everything out, the color out of space was like, I knew that.
Good one, Sam. I like it. I mean, to speak to craftsmanship, special effects, cinematography, we've been talking about it all throughout. I think those are
rad.
Love it.
notable.
Sound design, not only in the phone calls, but just the way it built layers of sound on top of each other to ratchet up that intensity and anxiety was phenomenal.
Yes.
The cutting,
very well crafted.
The framing, everything. Big fan of the way this movie was made by the people that made it, except for the one guy. Except
for that guy.
Do you have guys anything else you want to bring up?
No, I mean honestly, with the visual effects and stuff like that, I think it was well done. Where it was intense, but it wasn't overwhelming. As in, like it easily could have been way too much, and it was just enough way too much, if that makes sense, because it still felt overwhelming, and I felt like dread, just like the characters should feel, but it wasn't like a overly visual bombardment.
Just right.
Makes sense. Just right. All right. Well, then I think that is a great place to take us into a break. And we're back. Thank you so much for bearing with us through that second, if half second, that you got to hear the little bump, and now we're back. We're going to come back into our final 12, bringing back 6 and 6 again, so we can finish you off tonight.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, 6 again, the mutation. First question, would we survive? What are you thinking?
I'm going to put this at a maybe, because I don't understand how you survive.
Yeah.
My answer was no, ... But why did Ward Phillips survive? Like, why was he allowed to?
Because
he didn't drink the water? Because he was drinking bottled water?
Oh, that's true, because he wasn't really...
He was very adamant about that.
He wasn't really infected by... Wow, that's actually a really good point. I guess it has to infect you before it can get you?
Was the sheriff drinking this water? What happened to him? Do we
He
know?
just got treed. And that was just unfortunate circumstance of going under a tree.
Well, no, they were talking about how this contamination is in like the actual like reservoir, like it's in the water system at this point.
Right, and all the townspeople were drinking it naturally.
Yeah. So I guess they would all
but
be
they were drinking
susceptible to
specifically
it.
from the well was a whole thing.
I don't know.
But like
I would say
the sheriff got by the tree just like they could have got shot by Nathan.
But did the tree I guess why nobody got warded?
They got warded. I would say we would survive if we left.
Yeah, that was my thing. So if Ward Phillips can survive, then I think we could too. So it's not a hard. Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, no, I would say if we warded it up, yes. If we left, yes. But I don't know. Like squaring up against this thing would be you'd be nuked.
Yeah, I guess my big thing is, well, except for the fact that Ward does it and he's fine. So I guess my big problem is I still don't understand the rules totally.
Yeah. I think you have to.
But again, I feel like if this fool can do it, I can do it.
That's
but
true.
Obviously it is very deadly and I could easily die too. So who knows?
Well, maybe we'll explore it a little bit more once we get to
Another
a
question.
later sixth question. Yeah. So maybe we're putting this one in the maybe. Would we survive it? Did anything pull you out of the movie?
The
only thing that did would just be like this sometimes that I had like where I'm like, what are the rules here? I know it's cosmic and we're not meant to truly understand, but it seems like
exactly. No, that would be
those
mine.
little things.
Yeah.
I would say the rewatch reaction to the alpaca monster and the ending, especially the first time. The second time I'm like, I don't care, I like this. But the first time I'm like, what the fuck? Like why did this happen? What, like he didn't have to defeat it, it just burned itself out. Like so that added more to my questions. And even talking about it tonight, I think I have even more questions than I did before.
Yeah,
but I'm not. I think I'm okay with that too. Normally, I'm like, or sometimes that can turn me off, but that's not the case here.
Yeah, honestly, the only thing that really pulled me out, I guess not in a bad way, it was just some of the Nicolas Cage-isms by Nicolas in this movie was like,
oh, for sure.
I had the same note. It pulled me out, but not in a bad way.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think
it pulled me out and pulled me in.
Yeah. Well, I think
pulled me off.
I think at this point in
there
we go.
Thank you.
I
pulled us all off.
Pulled it all off.
Yeah, for sure.
I think at this point, pinnacle of his career and moving forward, it's something you kind of just expect, and like it just adds a different garnish to the meal. It doesn't mean that it's like bad in any way. Where it's like, okay, he's freak out at least once.
I mean, it was an unhinged Cage, which is what we want, but in this just weird new way, in my opinion, with the voice changes aspect, really added something different to the unhinged
cosmic,
like of talking almost kind of like Nick Cage normally. Then he just, when he got upset about something, a weird new accent came out.
Switch coming, you'd be like, oh, okay, so something's not cool is about to happen.
It was perfect. All right, so
go feed your mother.
What kind of tone or vibe did it have? I mean,
tough.
I got a sense of, for me, the tone
woodsy,
earthy. I mean, besides its like definite like cosmic out there kind of tone, I also got this really cool tone of unraveling. Like the movie unravels, and not in like, but in a good way, as in like that's how just the whole point of the narrative, and like I think how it's like the cinematography and everything, where it's like
not like unravels where it just goes downhill.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's unraveling, but on purpose.
It's just got shitty the worse it went.
Just so fucking weird. Yeah, no, like that.
And I love it.
Yeah,
I love how it unraveled like that.
Isolation. That would be a better word for what I was trying to say before. They're isolated, cut off. Living in the
ominous.
sticks.
Oh, yeah, I would say definitely this is an ominous movie.
Ominous.
And
very...
I don't know what to say about the color, but like it's not
It's
like a
out of
neon
space.
movie, but it is
Mhm.
it does add to the vibe.
It's
in a,
almost psychedelic, but it's not.
Well,
yeah,
sure, and
psychedelic would be good actually.
Yeah, and it did it in the right way, considering the premise of it is like this color that also makes you feel hot.
Yeah, it makes you feel hot. It makes you smell things that aren't there.
Well, I think that has to do with the time looping thing, because it's looping his mind into being in the time when he was with his father, as he explains, being in death, because he says it later on.
It's like one
that
smells like
smell
a-
of
smells
death
like
that
cancer.
reminds me.
You know what that is. It's
yeah.
like,
Oh yes, disinfectant and like
disinfectant, all that stuff. Or anytime that
Yeah.
he's been in the hospital, I think that's the
that
thing playing with it.
God, okay, I know that we.
Exactly.
I know,
It smells like somebody burned a dog. You don't smell
Oh
that?
yes. So, all right. So not
All
to
the
jump back into
smells.
one of the scenes. That entire scene where he goes back to where he brings up her cancer while she's holding. It's so unnerving because both of them are fucking batshit crazy at this point, and there's that poor fucking kid who's just in his mom's arms, being like just as defenseless as you possibly can. You're like, you're surrounded by lunatics.
He's crazy as well.
Yeah,
don't forget, he's been like presumably talking to the creature, and there's that point where Ward walks up. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm playing with my friends."
And it's just a field of
okay,
nobody.
well, don't drink the water.
Oh god.
Yeah.
And then Ward walks away, and the kid starts laughing. So he's definitely already gone.
Yeah, around
all
everyone.
that shit. Eerie. Is anything about this movie unusual for the genre? I said not really. If it's like, especially when you call it cosmic, you can really go anywhere within that genre.
Totally.
And be like, yeah, it's playing within cosmic horror.
Yeah, like this has it does have that like nihilistic kind of like like I don't know, chaotic cosmos that you would expect from a really weird cosmic movie, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. It seems to fit its genre well.
Perfect. Message to the movie. I mean, I think there's a few things.
We don't know shit about anything, including space.
I mean, yeah, if you want to look at the very like Lovecraftian theme to it.
Yeah. It's like
unknowing.
Yeah. That was my favorite part, where it's like he's just like the fear of the unknown, or like the unspeakable, unfathomable horrors of like just a happenstance, which is mostly everything. Where like this thing just careened into the earth, and it just happened to be here, and it just decided to wreak havoc for no, like chaotic and unplanned, like the universe.
Yeah,
I feel like there's some family stuff in there, but I don't know what it is.
It's
yeah.
Like communication is key.
Well, but then at the end they're like, no, we're sticking together. Like when they're all burning up, you know, that's what Lavinia says right before she burns up, I think.
Well, family does matter.
Family, I don't know. They found some Coronas.
Family matters.
Did I do that? Nice. Good callback. That was all intentional, wasn't it?
It was.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, I think that's right. I mean, there's other messages you could get out of it. Little things here, environmental things, cautionary tales. Don't fuck with things you don't understand. Like if, I don't know, a weird glowing meteor shows up, run the other way. Any of that, if you really want to look into it. But I think like what you said, the unknowable, unknowing, like happenstance of everything, like something, again, playing with the family, but what is it? Like, yes, we all have like these little things that I guess if you pulled at this thread of something, it could really
that's
unravel
like
that much more.
The color was actually addiction, and how that can
affect an entire
part
family.
of happy family.
Message.
Setting you're familiar with. I said, nah, brah. This got nah, brah from me.
No, yeah, not really.
Yeah. I don't know. My folks live on a 14-acre farm, and I used to live on a farm, but not that cosmic, and not with alpacas.
Alien farm.
No
alpacas.
No squatters. I mean, I feel like I've actually got really like
seem like such a wooded farm either. There's no like space for agriculture,
for farming,
right?
But what was really interesting is it was interesting hearing you said it was filmed in Portugal, because to me it felt like sort of this weird Pacific Northwest thing, but set in like a New England type place, but it's filmed in the woods of Portugal, which makes sense of why it kind of feels familiar and like other things, but
Doesn't.
still out of place.
Uh-huh.
What I liked that aspect of it, but no, it didn't remind me of anywhere I've ever been before.
I agree. All right, 6 returns. The Descent. Villain level 1 through 10.
10.
This one's tough.
It's 10 for me. I mean,
I gave it a 10.
Yeah.
But it seemed like I'm just like still like wibbly wobbly on a few things to it. But I tried to break this down to do 2 categories.
Ooh.
Like, what is its power and what is its like? I called it design for a lack of better term, but like, what is that lasting impact of what? Yeah, exactly. So its power seemingly is pretty fucking powerful.
Yeah.
Based on what it can do. But like, how much is that?
It's not world ending though.
Apparently not.
Yet.
Like neighborhood ending. Well, it's not. I mean,
what do you mean? Like,
what do you mean yet? It
why?
Seemed like it was over, except for a bug at the end. And what does that do? Like, I don't know.
I think
it's just gonna burn out another neighborhood.
I think it insinuated that this thing is like it's the microscopic, I guess, but it infiltrated and completely polluted the water tap like system. So by the end of the movie, it's
but
still.
Why hasn't? But it hasn't done anything. Nothing's happened.
What if it turned into a giant?
The guy's
cloud?
just like, I'll never drink the water, but presumably other people are drinking the water, and it's fine.
Like clearly,
it's been 25 years or whatever it is. Yeah.
No, that's true. I wonder if it could just like create cosmic problems. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like you get infected with
like
it.
Little blips can pop up.
Yes.
Little cosmic blips.
Yeah.
And then it just like poofs out of existence. That's a fun little, like, I like that.
Like little mini black holes.
Pop in, like, hopefully, like, you're not within that zone. Here we go. Okay. That bring that up
I
again
would say
during
9.
sequel.
Yeah.
By the way, I might go 10, but as of tonight, as we're recording this, it's a 9.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that at this point
because of the iconography part of it. Actually, even though it is not world ending, it's still powerful enough to get a 5 for me.
Yeah,
it's
so
inescapable if you're there. So that's the big
True.
Unless you're Ward.
But unless you're Ward.
Yeah, again, don't really get it, but that's okay.
I gave it a 5 for power and a 5 for its design, which was a 10. But yeah, I could scale that back to a 4 and give it a 9. I don't know. This one's weird.
It's okay,
with
I'm
me
kind of
because
with you.
of those rules.
I could go 10 as well. Yeah, and that's the unknowing of it, right?
Sure, I'll give it the 10. I'll let it have it.
Fuck it.
It's
a 10, bro.
It's 10, bro.
And you're saying 10 too, Ross?
Yeah, I would say 10. I'm just because I put myself in the situation with the creature. And I think like that is just like there's really no escaping that unless you ward it off like our friend Ward did.
Exactly. Unless you don't drink the water and run into a wine cellar. All right, so does this deserve a sequel? Should there be a sequel? I said deserve. Sure, it was a great movie. Does it need to be one? No, until now. It is 25 years later, and then we have learned that there's like these little blips that will pop up.
And it only affects
like randomly within this town.
And it only
it's actually
a square mile.
A mini series. Yeah. Each one's a like bottle episode, you know, it's an anthology series.
Oh.
And it's learning how to detect the blips. And like you get like some sort of alert, like there's got to be like an alarm system so that you know, like
that when you know
people are going through an
it's
area,
just how
and you're
society
like,
learns to live with it.
Incoming blip.
Yes,
and you have to like
at the corner of 4th and 5th.
Oh my god!
Oh, just like if you're in the zone, it can detect like the I don't know, like particles picking up in the area or something.
How nutty would it be if it was like
it detects the color?
Ooh, that's
Blurple.
a good Blurple. If Blurple shows up anywhere,
there's sensors all around in the town.
What if there was like
sensors.
Within that 25 years, right? They tested the water and then like there's none of that contaminant anymore, but then these blips start happening. So anybody that drank water within that 25-year span can be affected by these blips and like get blipped out of oblivion. Blipped out of oblivion. Blipped on Goose Street.
Oblivion.
Ugh,
that sounds like some horrible time loop where you're stuck with Blippy.
Oh God, no!
I don't know, man. Blippy's
for
great.
all the parents out there.
That would be the shit.
I'd love it.
All right, well, I want to wish that on my worst enemy.
No, I wouldn't do that. I know. He pooped on people.
And I really don't
Willingly?
like my worst enemy.
Yes, he willingly pooped on people.
Oh, that
Well, I'm sure
I don't
he
even
did.
care about that.
Did the other people accept it?
Yes, they did.
God, so I love the fact that your hatred for this runs so
cares?
deep that the fact that he physically shat on people is so relevant to you hating him. I think that
It totally is.
I love that.
My son doesn't know about that, but of TV shows that are on for kids, that's the only one that makes me want to like drill my brain out.
We'll continue this conversation at the Patreon after dark.
Yeah.
All right. So, would you want to buy this soundtrack or score on vinyl?
Absolutely would want to
Well,
get
you
this.
would.
Yeah.
Right.
I said sure on this one. I think I think this would be in a sense like I would listen to this if it's on
I don't think so.
somewhere
I
to give it a listen. I don't know if I would buy it. I'd listen to it first to see if it was interesting. enough.
It's too much like building anxiety for me to want to listen to it outside of it. There's only like one time I can think where I was like, that's kind of cool. But everything else is like, that's just going to make me be like, is something about to happen? Am I okay? Like, I don't
know how I do this.
What's happening?
I like to live. I like to live on the edge. Imagine. I always like to live like something's about to happen. Fuck. Sounds terrible.
You got a sound drop.
That is how I live my life, and nothing is about to happen, but I think it is.
Well, exactly. I don't need that. Like, or like,
if you want to know what
I'm
it's like
supposed
in
to
my
be
head
what am I
at
supposed
all
to be
normal
doing right
times,
now? I'm supposed
listen
to be
to
doing
this
something.
soundtrack.
What is that?
Yeah. It's a good representation of my mind. Is there anything action figure worthy? I said hell yeah.
Alpaca King?
Full of it.
Alpaca King would be like the number one for me.
All right, Ross.
Of course.
How's it interactive?
Yeah.
Okay. No, okay. The interactive one would be the mom-kid fusion one, and it's a pull string one, and every time you pull this string, it just goes...
Okay. It churtles.
It churtles.
I don't
Every time you pull
know
the
if
string, it churtles.
I don't know if it is action worthy for me. I'm not sure there's anything I want from this movie.
The one I thought would be really cool would be, again, I picture it in statuesque form.
I know
The
what
daughter
it is.
final form.
Yes, exactly.
Lavinia.
At the end. That would be cool.
I would have... See, now that would be more towards murder.
Maybe old Ward Phillips.
Old Ward Phillips.
Oh, damn Ward Phillips.
Oh my god, no! I would do like a.
I got the deluxe set. It's full dam.
That's so good. That's so good.
If we drain it, you'll see where everything was.
Oh
You
my
can
god!
put water in there.
Or I would do like the
I
weird.
keep it on my water table.
I would actually have like a weird mummified zombie-looking Ezra in his like Buddha pose at the end.
Oh, that is a cool looking
Oh,
image.
Yeah.
And the interaction there would be he'd have his Memorex tapes or whatever it
Oh
is.
my god, that you could play.
And that was used very well. I loved how
Yeah.
it played with this timing of it, where it sped up and
slowed down. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Definitely agree. What merch or prop do you want for the film? Again, going back to, I took a shower blob.
Shower blob would be great. I love shower blob.
I love a little shower blob.
I would have a well-shaped nightlight that just had blurple, so it just shot light up
That's
in the sun.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a great
It
merch.
had like little things coming out of it. Little
I want that as well, Ross.
white tentacles. I'll take one of those too. Thank you.
I might have to make one.
Around a little
Oh,
bit.
I have to make one now.
I want a
Colorado
wacky
Space
inflatable,
Nightlight.
Colorado
like
Space
like the
Nightlight.
tube guy
Oh
that
yes,
flails around. But I want it to be the well.
my son's
with
favorite thing. Whenever he sees
a
one, it's a
blurple
wacky
guy.
inflatable arm flailing tube man. He loves those things.
Yeah, but
And
it's
it'll
gonna
like,
be blurple.
I live in a wacky inflatable arm flailing tube house, and I out on a wacky inflatable arm flailing tube street. If you didn't know.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah, wacky arm inflatable color out of space light.
That'll be at the premiere. That should have been at
Sold.
the premiere.
I want one of those. Yeah, instead of a spotlight, that's what they have. And then
you go to the premiere of Color Out of Space, and it's a bunch of these. What the fuck am I about to watch?
I want that first flower we see, where when he asks his wife, "Is she planted flowers?"
Oh yeah,
and she's like, "No, it must be perennial." Because even that, it's probably a real flower because everything else is real, but that grows. But it looks alien in a way, and
It does.
yeah.
I think it's cool looking. I'd like to have it.
Awesome. All right, so what are we throwing, or what are we doing, or yelling at the midnight showing?
Okay, I don't know the logistics of this, but the entire alpaca milk scene is hilarious to me, and I would love to cheers with my own. You know, like in school where you got like the little thing of milk.
Oh, a little carton of milk.
So like when he goes, "You want some milk?" Everyone raises their own carton and then just takes a sip of milk with Nicolas Cage as a toast.
Okay,
that's good.
I
don't
had
have
nothing really.
Yeah, I don't know
this
why.
Didn't seem
I had
like
so
a get
much
together in the
trouble.
theater and like
But
hang out. Remember,
Well,
this is like in the small room.
yeah, but regardless of that, even pretending it is, I couldn't think of anything.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I just struggled. So
I think-
thanks, Ross.
No problem. The only other one that I had, which would be just when Benny's first introduced smoking weed, is that just people throw fake doobies at the screen when he just
Everybody takes a toke, man.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that they can do when the 4 tickets become available for the small room.
Oh yes.
Chuddle Fest.
Chuddle Fest.
See this one?
You'll
There's
be
only 4 tickets available
You'll be
for it.
supplied your own milk.
Oh, I got some everybody could yell out. That'd be fun.
4 people.
When
Only 4 people.
all 4 of us would yell
It's the
when
small
he's
room.
like, after he tells her to fuck off, and he's like, "Better yet, I'll fuck off," and he walks away, and we see him walking away.
Oh my-
Everybody yells, "I'm fucking off now."
That's
Perfect.
good. I like that.
Awesome. Great. That's better than anything I have, which is nothing. Now it's time to pull out our, I don't know, interdimensional cosmic creatures.
Chainsaws?
Melted hand.
Chainsaws.
Yeah.
Melted hands and rip off some fingers because we're going to use our Chuddle scale to go ahead and rate this filming. And I want to go ahead and jump over to our HP Lovecraftian expert himself first. Rosticle. Give us that posticle.
Okay, so engaging. This is going to get a 1. I was engaged the entire film, even when it was confusingly time warpy, which leads into sticky, because this movie made me have lots of questions and like stuck with me after watching it. Particularly, like, I think we definitely touched on it. Like what are the rules of this thing? Like, where did it go? Is it around?
Definitely
Is it
touched on
not?
it, yeah.
And like it was again open-ended questions that didn't make me frustrated. It just I wanted to watch it again or anything related to it. Like I wasn't like pissed that I had these questions. I was just like, oh man, what if it was like this? Or I don't know. It just made me ask more
The
questions.
less you understand it, the more you understand it.
Exactly. T-shirtable. Hell yes.
So is that a 1 on sticky?
That's a 1 on sticky. Yeah, that's a 1 on sticky. So yeah. T-shirtable is definitely a 1. I have a blob tie-dye shirt that easily could have Color Out of Space on the front of it because it's just blurple. So like it's I could see this.
Nice.
I could see like really awesome psychedelic T-shirts being made from some of the imagery in this movie.
Yeah, agreed.
This works very well with the current wave of tie-dye
Yes,
horror shirts.
100%.
Get it out there, one of you. Oh, Chuddle Drip Clothing Company.
Oh,
That's us.
Don't do it.
It's coming.
Cockles is going to get a 1 from me. This is Lovecraft. I love the story. I love the fucking and what they did with it. It's just fucking wild. The practical effects. It's just every full drainage. The Cockles. Rewatchable. I was. Oh man, you were gonna hate me. I was gonna go like 3/4 of a 1, which is not a thing. I'm gonna just do
Never done
1.
that
I would
before.
rewatch. It's Lovecraft, man. Like I default like anything. I'll watch the best
Can I
Lovecraft,
ask you a
worst
question?
Lovecraft. Yeah.
Why do you think we'll hate you for that?
I think because we made a joke a really long time ago about fractions. So it's like instead of a 0.5, doing a 0.75, where it's like it's almost a full 1 rewatchable. But yeah.
I think we've allowed a guest to do that.
Yeah, no, we can't let
Not you.
No, that would be,
We own
that
you.
would be lunacy. That would be lunacy. No, this is gonna get a.
It's in our contract.
This is gonna get a. Yeah, because I'd rather go over than under on a Lovecraft one. So I'd rather go over. This is just gonna get a 5 from me.
Full 5.
Full 5, man. Like,
Sweetly,
I would say the only thing would be with rewatchable. It defaults to 1 to me because I watch Lovecraft shit all the time. I would say under normal circumstances, it is a trippy movie, and like this wouldn't be like I'm gonna watch this 15 times in a row kind of movie. Like this would be like marinate on it and then
Normally, when you give something a 1, it's a movie you'd watch 15
times in a row. Which I mean, like this one, I'm only up to like 5. So
nice.
Good
That makes
to know.
sense. Makes sense.
Perfect. All right, Sammy Poo, what are you gonna
Sammy
do?
Do.
Sammy lives in the well now.
Sammy Poo.
Sam lives in the well now. Sammy Poo is going to do his engaging finger. How much of it's he cutting off? Full 1.
That's what we wanna
Absolutely
know.
engaged both times. Really engaging. There's something just striking about this movie that I really enjoy. Which brings me to Sticky. I'm going to say it's probably a 0.5 on Sticky. Because I think mostly what I'll remember about it is I liked the way it looked and the vibe more than I'm going to remember these questions I have about how the entity worked. But it's just so cool looking, which brings us to T-Shirtable. Full finger there. Absolutely. It just looks too cool. I like it enough that I would wear it on a shirt.
Right.
There's so many different designs you could go with. There was one image that we only see for a second that really struck me, where you see it really well when Nick Cage comes to the barn to kill the alpacas, and he swings the door open and he's standing there with a shotgun, and for a second we get a full silhouette perfectly framed of him holding the shotgun with these like bright blurple trees behind him. Which I was like, that's a fucking Color Out of Space shirt. So full finger there. Cockles, rocked my cockles. My cockles were rock hard till they emptied out and became fully drained, in which case I had 1 full cockle. And because it just did it for me. There's just something about the look, the psychedelic nature of it, all of that. I'm here for it. And then rewatchability, I think because it doesn't have that watch 15 times in a row thing and has the only 5 times in a row, it's going half a finger there, which gives me a 4 total, which great score. That's what I thought it would be in my heart going in. Good. And that's where it came.
Great. Love to hear it. Now that leaves it over to me. I'll start us off with engaging, and I'm going to echo a lot what you're both are saying here. I'm going to give that one a full 1. I thought that was very engaged throughout the whole thing. Loved what I was seeing. Definitely had a feel that I was on board with, and we love the color blurple and any kind of tone, hue, saturation
sort of
that.
Blurple pod, I think.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know we use a lot of green, but blurple
Yeah,
is
we're going to
where...
need to head in the blurple direction, I think.
Oh, rebranding colors, blurple.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
It's like we're it's like we're going from Ghostbusters 1 to Ghostbusters 2. Like we need that.
Not a lot of people will be there for it, but
yeah,
the ones that are.
We go from green slime to pink blurple slime.
Yeah, and speaking of slime, Sticky. I agree. 0.5 in the aspect that kind of what Sam said as well. There's a lot of like imagery that I'll remember with and kind of overall themes and just what was happening. But those questions about the creature do leave me more like that's not something that's going to stick with me that I care to solve, because I don't think there's an actual answer if you go back and look in the movie. I think it's a little bit of
that you don't. Yeah, it's unanswerable.
Exactly. Yeah, and even like the little like if we want to call them plot hole type things, it's again the answer would be it's unanswerable.
You can write it into
we didn't
that.
really
You
think
can
about
excuse
it was
it,
written
yeah.
in exactly excusable. So that's one that's just going to get the 0.5 for me. T-shirtable full 1 for sure. I mean, echo the same thing. Fucking beautiful imagery. We love the blurple, and we're gonna make the tie-dye of it. Just wait, it's coming.
Do you have a shirt in mind?
No, but anything. I mean,
I just thought of one. If we get Teresa on the front all messed up, but then a back print
Yes,
Jack
yeah,
all
Jack
messed
on the
up.
back.
It's like, what were those shirts when we were kids? It'd be like an alien on the front, and it looked like he was fine, and on the back, he was like doing graffiti or
Yes,
something.
yeah.
Oh god, yeah, I used to have one of those. I probably still have it.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Just do
We're gonna
what?
yeah,
Oh my God.
that's perfect. See, you guys are designing all the perfect ones. I'll take any one of those. That'll be coming soon. Cockles, full one as well. This had Nick Cage rocking my cockles and milking them hard, just like an alpaca. So they're drained, gone,
Oops.
full one. And rewatchable. I'm echoing Sam on this one, full across. Rewatchable gets the 0.5. Again, I could see myself visiting it just to experience the coolness I like of it, even though it is kind of a dreadful, sad overtone of the whole film. But I do think it was ultimately rewatchable to that half extent. Not something I'm throwing on multiple times.
You're not throwing it on for background, but you'll definitely return to it.
For sure. So again, that gives it another 4, and that is a great score from me. And I feel like that works as well. So as we finish up tonight's episode, we're going to close out with our final 2 questions. First, does color out of space belong in the Chuddle Club crypt? To qualify, it needs to have 4 fingers average. Does it make it in? What's the average?
It sure does, with a 4.3 repeating.
4.3 repeating, just like the endlessness of the vastness of the cosmos. And
How
such.
appropriate.
Exactly. It's on game, on point, on theme,
the
on brand.
Rating out
There
of
you go.
space.
The rating out of space.
Rating out of space. That's the sequel. All right, one more question. Would you rather witness the alien presence from color out of space and have complete knowledge of the universe, but be unable to communicate to anyone else, or just remain in your current state of knowledge and perception and live a happy, normal life? So would you like to know everything in the universe by like experiencing, I don't know, some mind meld with this creature and what it knows, but not be able to tell anyone, or just go about not knowing and just being happy in life?
I would take it.
Honestly,
You take it?
I would.
Mhm.
I would just. I'd be okay, because I feel like the human mind wouldn't be capable of the vastness of the cosmos. I feel like just having all of that knowledge alone would make you go insane.
I could handle it.
I think Sam can handle it. He's a big boy. He doesn't get scared.
Yeah, I'm pretty
He's
much
a real
not
cool
scared,
kid.
So
Yeah.
super cool.
Super cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
I
I'd
mean,
pass.
it sounds bizarre, but I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay in my current state of knowledge and perception. But it says, you'll be able to live a normal, happy life. So presumably things are gonna be great. I'll be living a normal, happy life.
Sure. I just feel like
So
you
what-
get to
happy
a certain
wife.
point where you're with the knowledge that you gain, that you hit a point of like zenity, or who knows? Maybe
You might be very zen-like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fuck it. You know what? I'm gonna go with you, Sam. I don't know if I can handle it. I'm not a big boy. I get scared. I don't know if I'm cool.
God,
But I'm gonna get that knowledge. Fuck it. Let's do it.
If you guys are gonna
Fuck
do
it. I'll go to the loony bin.
Oh, are we all going to the
let's
loony
go
bin
to the
together?
Looney Bin together, bro.
Yes. Let's do it.
But we
I'm
can't
here
tell
for
each other we all know this knowledge.
Oh my God! No, we'd be able to know because we can't talk
We'd
about
have
it,
to know,
but
right?
our facial expressions with each other, we could probably
Just sort of a knowing look.
yeah. And
And it would give us all sorts of insights, so we'd be in public somewhere and see something happen, nobody would pick up on it, and we'd all look at each other and be like, yeah, we know, because we know the cosmos.
we knew that was going to happen.
It says you have complete knowledge of the universe, but be unable to communicate it to anyone else. So it's like we would know each other's
Sure.
knows, but we couldn't be like telling each other.
I know the cure
like,
to
I know you know.
cancer, but I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a lot of side glances,
Yeah,
a
a lot
lot
of
of
knowing
jimming the
looks.
camera.
Wait, we can't
Exactly.
tell people,
Heavy gymming.
but can we show people?
I will
Oh.
show you. That sounds very like
Like
you-
Lavinia did to Ward at
do
the
you
end
see?
of the film.
Mm-hmm. All right. That is it for us tonight. We would definitely want to know the answer to all of these questions and what you feel about them. Best way to do that, jump into the Discord. But you know what? Jump onto our Instagram. Just comment on any of our posts. That definitely helps us out. But that's another way to get at us too if you don't feel like getting in the Discord. We're available there. We're on email. We're in Facebook land now. You can check us out on Facebook. We're starting that up and everything. Just all these different ways. Get at us. We want to hear from you. That's
rate, review, tell your friends.
Exactly. Don't forget all the places. Rate, review, tell your friends.
You want to bring emojis back?
I don't know. That does it for the Chuddle Club movie meeting tonight. I wanted to say that part. Meeting's over.
Meeting's adjourned.
Meeting
done.
Adjourned. Was this an official meeting? We didn't have a roll call at the beginning.
Nobody took notes, did they?
Do we need to start doing that? Well, we kind of did, but then we nixed it. We roll called the Coven, and then we're like, no more roll calling the Coven.
Takes
All right.
too long.
It takes too long. We just want to get into the movie for you guys. All right. Get at us. We love you. And until next time.
Nothing has been fucking this place up.
Why are you so in denial?
Okay, I've had it with your drama, Lavinia. So do me a favor and get the fuck out of my sight, okay? No, actually, I'll save you the trouble and get the fuck out of yours.